Okay.
It's episode 89 today.
It is. Can you believe it? Did you know when we started this in the summer, just how big this would get?
We've
Did you
got
have any concept?
ones of people's viewing in.
It's very exciting. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
You're going to unpack some shit with us. In today's world, we have bags and bags of shit we need to unload. So Tom and I are going to delve into it. So Tom, I would love to know on this Wednesday what your topics are.
All right. I've got a couple topics.
Yes.
Pardon me, I'm charging my phone. I was listening to Colin Cowherd. He's one of my favorite guys because I listen to him for sports. He's a sports guy. And I also listen to him because he also will take a like human interest or talk about, psychology beyond sports and talk about things in his life. And it's like, all right, he seems to have a good take. He talked about being in the hospital.
Yes.
And then I was thinking about unwritten rules of engagement.
Ooh, I like that.
And your topics are?
I like that. My topics are, well, that was a dick move because that's like a new segment that I really
like it.
A new segment that I'm going to try. I don't know. I'm going to try to call it Why God Why. Okay. That's a new idea. We're going to see how it works. I've got another one called What Would You Do?
Oh, look at you, a bunch of segments. I like it.
I've become obsessed with names of segments. And then another one called They Finally Invented This.
Wow. Oh, I have something to add to that. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay. They finally invented this. And my last thing is to live like an Italian. So
I've heard of walk like an Egyptian.
This is going to be live like an Italian. So I want to hear about your unwritten rules of engagement. Tell me.
Well, this has a little bit of a political slant on it as you saw how the president refused to have a peaceful transfer of power. I don't want to, all right?
The last one, yes.
The last one. So we're in a situation where we've always had that that's not written down in the Constitution that once on November 6th that it appears blah blah blah, and 78% of the networks called this. Then the person will stand up and congratulate the next guy and then move on. It's an unwritten rule.
True.
Most all politicians do it.
Yes.
It's part of the game. It's part of the
game
agreement you take on when you enter politics, that when you lose, we're not going to cause a shitstorm. We're going to say congratulations and move on. It's like, I was thinking, like, you got unwritten rules in baseball. If you hit my guy, be prepared for one of your guys to get hit. It's not a rule anywhere.
Okay.
You throw a pitch and you knock our all-star down. Guess who's going down the next time that your all-star is up? Okay. It's unwritten rules of engagement. And I also was thinking about like golfing. I don't know that it's a rule that you can't cough while another guy's putting.
Right.
But it's not done. It's considered.
Why do you have to be so quiet when someone golfs? I mean, is it like that in any other sport where you're not allowed to make any noise?
That's always been, not always, but it's been an interesting conversation as to why so much golfing? Why not yelling? Why not, I guess it just evolved to be a game like that. And if someone makes a noise in their backswing, it's supposed to be, it's considered to be completely distracting.
Right. So did some dickbag start this because he was a horrible golfer, and if anybody made any sound, he couldn't possibly focus on hitting that little baby ball, and so everybody's like, oh, that's a good idea, let's just be super quiet for this very athletic sport.
It's interesting because bowling's the same way. You have archery. I mean, you do have other sports in which it's considered to be bad sport to make noise or be distracted.
You're not supposed to make noise during bowling. I didn't know that.
No, it's quiet. Guy stand up.
I don't watch bowling.
Jerry Lewis grabs his ball.
Oh, I didn't
makes his approach. Know.
Okay.
And then the crowd, once the ball's on the way, you can yell. Okay. Just like golfing. Once the putt or once the ball has been engaged and is flying or rolling, then you could yell.
Well, how about in basketball when you get the free throw and everybody's like, ah, and they're yelling and throwing things?
Yeah, that again, it's a similar situation, but no, you're encouraged. You're encouraged to distract.
We
It's
should try
crazy.
to
You can think about
flip
it,
that.
huh?
We should try to flip it. So in golf, you're now encouraged to yell and scream and chant.
Okay, but yes, but please, it's been discussed, but I think it's individual sport versus team sport. It's like
Uh,
when the quarterback is on the 10-yard line of your goal line, the crowd's going crazy, so he can't bark out his signals.
True. Okay.
It's like called the 12th man when you're
Oh,
playing football, that the stadium is the 12th man. It's like
okay.
because you have 11, you play 11.
Okay.
So now it's you versus those 11 plus the fans to try to get your signals out.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then, but it's never done in golf or bowling.
Do you watch golf on television?
You know, the short answer is I have.
Oh,
It's kind of like an afternoon, but I don't watch every weekend. I mean, usually it's Masters or US Open and somebody particular is playing. I find it's chews up a lot of time to sit there and watch. It's a great way to take a nap.
I was gonna say, like, clearly there's an audience for it because I know that there are shows of the Masters and
Oh
different.
yeah. Oh no.
Clearly there's an audience, but to me it seems very unappealing to want to watch somebody and all the quiet take a stick to see how far a little ball will go and if it lands in that
Okay,
little
we could
hole.
diminish just about anything with that, right?
I know, doesn't it felt good. I just completely diminished
Oh, we could
the
sit down for
entire.
hours and look and read little hash marks so someone put on a page to try to pass along their thoughts. Ugh, it's ridiculous. Somebody
Golf
named
is funny to me,
Hey,
though. It's very funny to me. Good for those people that can make money with it. It's just a funny sport.
well, we enjoy as a people, we enjoy competition. And I think that's a
Yes,
good thing to have is competition.
it
Sharpens
is. You're
everybody
right.
gets better with competition.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
Kids learn discipline, learn, to strive, learn teamwork. I mean, sport really does a lot of good things.
Well, and supposedly a lot of business decisions are made while guys are bonding over golf, right? That's
It's
like a.
yeah, let's all go take a walk and cut some deals. I've never had that experience myself, but it is interesting. I have golfed with people, but nobody that's my immediate boss
Okay.
but you could see, but you also get to see a temperament of a person. I golfed one time. I went out with I think we had 12 guys or 16 guys. We made a weekend of it. We
Okay.
drove halfway to Orlando. We got a condo and we're all piled into whatever. And we're playing. It was like we're playing two rounds of 18 holes every day for 2 days,
Okay.
which is a lot of fucking golf.
Okay.
And then I only knew one guy. So there's a lot of guys I don't know. Well, one guy I was golfing with, who I didn't know, he was going crazy on the green with his club, beating the
Why?
green with his club, which is unbelievably bad form. It's unacceptable. You can't even play with a guy like that. He's lost his temper so much and he's damaging the course.
Wow. And did anybody else try to like?
He's a madman with a club. I didn't
Yeah.
know this guy.
Yeah. That's
I'm like,
awkward.
well, could you imagine thinking about doing business with this guy?
No.
You couldn't.
No. I feel like women, we bond in the restrooms with each other for some odd reason. The restroom is a very safe place to bond and form friendships and over a glass of wine. We don't necessarily go do a sport, to have to do that. But definitely there's something about if you've had a little bit to drink and you go in the ladies' room, you become friends with all the ladies in there. And I can't
Really,
explain it, but it's just a thing.
guys are always measuring up against the other guy.
I thought you guys didn't look.
We can be friends. No, not meant. What do you mean? Didn't look.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, I want to know if I'm a better basketball player than you. We're all
Oh,
telling our.
I thought you were talking about measuring each
It's
other up in
not
the
all about
restroom.
cock size, Melinda. Have I mentioned?
Yes, 15 is what we're going to go with. Yeah, I thought you
No,
were talking about.
we're comparing high school glory days. Oh yeah, I
Oh,
ran this fast mile. I jumped this
really?
far. I was on varsity basketball.
Does as an adult man that counts what you did in high school?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a 60-year-old woman trotting out pictures of when she was 20.
Mm,
Here's what I looked like. Ooh.
In the dating world, maybe, but when women get together, we don't,
No, they've got no value against other women.
we don't compare high school stories. I feel like we're more realistic than that.
Really? So nobody says I used to be the head cheerleader?
Not on purpose. It's not, it's more, I will say my experience has been with women when we are trying to like scope each other out, is we find out if they have kids and kind of what they're doing with their time now.
So how about if the kid is more successful than your kid?
Well, of course, that's a real sensitive, of course, very sensitive thing to speak of.
What was I watching? I was watching Patrick and I were watching a video. Pat, who was talking about Linus Pauling?
Linus Pauling?
Well, the inventor of the shot for polio. Wasn't it Linus Pauling?
That is not ringing a bell, but you could be right about that.
Oh, no, it's Jonas Salk. We're listening to a comedian talk about Jonas Salk's mom. What?
What are we doing?
Oh, Larry David was doing a bit about Jonas Salk, about his mother talking to the neighbor. I don't know if you know this, but my Jonas cured polio.
Yeah.
What's your son done?
Yeah. No, that's a real thing. Moms are very proud of their kids and what their kids have accomplished, most definitely. So which one of my topics that you remember would you like to speak about?
What was the fourth one?
Oh, I don't number things, Tom. Live like an Italian. They finally invented this.
Oh, that'll give me something to talk about. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm worried we're going to talk about the same thing.
I doubt it.
Okay, I thought you'd be very exciting. This is very Jetsons like. If you were a little kid and you thought, oh, when I grow up, this would be the best invention ever, what would that be?
It's a jetpack. Go on. What else?
That is a good one.
What's your next question?
What about a flying car?
I think the jetpack gives you a bit more Superman, Iron Man like freedom.
Just very true.
The car, you got to figure out where you're landing. That jetpack,
here's the thing. They have been working on this flying car. It's finally done. It's a Chinese group. I meant to send you the link because it's adorable. You have to have a driver's license and a sport pilot's certificate to utilize it, but you can also drive it, and the wings collapse down so it will fit in a one-car garage.
I love it. They've been working on that for so many years, and I've seen versions of that, but it flies to 10,000 feet, right?
It does fly to 10,000 feet, and it's been cleared by the FAA. It has a 27-foot wingspan, and I love that it's a hybrid, so you can fly and then just land and go drive somewhere.
So what happens to the wings when you land?
Well, it says that they compartmentalize, they fold up, so then you can drive, and it says it will fit into a one-car garage.
Okay, I just landed in Salt Lake City. Can I drive it to go downtown, or do I have to head for a one-car garage?
No. Okay. Yes. Well, I'll show you the video. I had to look at the video to wrap my brain around. It's very aerodynamic looking.
Mm-hmm.
Very futuristic looking, and then it showed the wings kind of like do 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 do.
Well, that's great. I saw the blurb, but I didn't.
I'll send you the video. It's adorable.
I'm a private pilot.
Oh, I'm a private pilot.
Did I mention that? And did I tell you how fast I ran in high school?
Have I mentioned? What was your? We talked about this. You were a long distance runner.
I did do long distance, but I also held the record for triple jump. It's high school.
Exactly right. For many years. I remember that.
Until we let in the blacks.
When someone talks about your high school days, would you be known as an athlete, do you think?
I certainly no. I think more of a participant. I don't think anybody looked at oh my God, this guy's dangerous.
Okay.
Although I played basketball well. We won a lot of intramural stuff. I mean, we were the senior intramural champions, mostly on I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I had an unbelievable game that day. That's one of my proudest moments. the Chicago was famous for having the St. Patrick's high school basketball was always considered to be one of the top basketball places in the city. You know, Chicago is a big place.
Yeah.
And the coach was an icon. He's coached there for 30 years. Everybody knew him. He knew the guys that played for the Chicago Bulls. As a matter of fact, the Chicago Bulls, for some reason, when I was a junior or senior, they came and they worked out for like 3 weeks in the gym.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So he was friends. He knew all blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I had that amazing game in the finals of the senior basketball intramurals. And the coach comes up to me and says, "Why didn't you ever try for basketball?" So that was amazing for me.
That is amazing. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. Tell me, what is the thing you want to talk about? What was finally invented?
So I'm going through, I did the big move about, gosh, it's a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And then I had to sort through all sorts of stuff. And I mentioned to you that I have a bunch of what a shows and things like that. But I run across
razor. Oh, what a razor?
water razor.
Water.
So I invented, with Patrick's help, I had the concept of this item.
Okay.
I said, "What's the bad part about shaving?"
The dryness, the nicks on your skin?
Of course it is, but essentially razors aren't efficient because they're always getting clogged. One stroke, bristles, clog. I'm sure the ladies have a similar situation. Guys' beards are a little denser, so you're always 2 strokes, tap, 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 back at it, right up. Now, if you had water coursing between those blades while you were shaving,
you'd have to do it in the shower, though. You get soaked, right?
Of course, in the shower. It's a shower water razor. So I took a long plastic tube, attached it to a bypass on the shower head, flipped the button, forced water through the handle of a hollowed out razor, forced the water between the blades, and sure as shit, we're shaving without even using lotion, because all lotion does essentially is keep the water on your beard.
Right. So what happened to it then?
So I tried to secure the website Water Razor. This is 15 years ago, if not longer.
Yes.
And I never got it. And then I also looked into the patent, and it's like, I think this thing's patented something or other. So it kind of faded away. So when I saw this DVD, I threw it in. Are you even paying attention to me?
Yes, I was pulling up the flying car for you to show you.
Okay, go do whatever you want to do.
No, you filed for the patent, and you thought that someone else already had the patent. I'm listening. I'm a woman.
I didn't apply for the patent.
One thing. I'm listening, dude. I never complain when you look at your phone when we are talking. Never.
Anyway, I ran the video. It was fun to see Pat 15 years earlier, and he was my model. He helped me make the thing, and we also shot some video, and then it worked. I mean, son of a bitch, you could shave in the shower with just water, no shaving cream.
And so why didn't you move forward with it?
Well, you were on your phone when I mentioned that I did an initial search, and it looked like it was already patented.
That's exactly what I heard you say. It looked like it. Was it?
Well, yeah, there were patents on, water and raising and water going through blades. So I said, there's no sense me trying to move forward if it looks like something's been invented. Anyway, I typed in waterrazor.com.
Yes.
And sure as shit, there's my invention.
There it is. See, this is another good example, though, of when you think of something, you just got to move on it, right? Because you and I have talked about this. We're like, oh, you know what'd be cool? And then we Google it and it's already there.
Right. But this is something that nobody did 15 years ago. Water Razor was just a parked website. There was no action on it 15 years ago. And then today you could Google, and then it drives you another. It's not called Water Razor. It's called something else, but that Water Razor drives it to another website.
Right. No, I love it. So here's the photo while you were busy talking. This is what I was doing. Can you see it?
It's like waving to you.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that's how the wings pull up.
I see. I love it.
Right.
And so those wings will go all the way closed, and then you could drive the car.
They said that you could go directly from flying to driving.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. But then my question is, and you tell me, how do they handle the airspace? How does that get
Oh, you've got to
controlled?
be a pilot. And then when you go up, see, you've got different types of zones in the country for airspace.
Yeah.
So if you're a sport pilot, you're allowed to go only a couple of 100 miles away from your base. You're not allowed to fly
Okay.
cross country.
Got it.
Now, my private pilot's license was I do have the permission to go anywhere I want, but I've got to fly VFR, visual flight rules. I have to be able to
Oh,
see. I can't
wow.
fly into a cloud.
Okay.
IFR, instrument flight rules. So you're just looking at the instruments, you're driving and flying in a storm and
Right.
whatever. That's, of course, your commercial pilots are all IFR plus, more
Right.
ratings than that.
Interesting.
So if I lived out in the sticks, I can take off without talking to anybody, any air traffic controller, as long as I wasn't violating their airspace. I couldn't fly over Tampa International. I came in, so within 50 miles of Tampa International, I can't enter their airspace without calling them and saying, identifying my craft and asking permission to enter, and they would either give me yes or no. Generally, yes. And then I would be under their control while I was in their airspace. Then once I leave their airspace, I'm free to do whatever the hell you want. It's very interesting because
Kind of cool.
in Europe, they don't have that type of freedom. They don't have VFR. Everybody's always controlled. You're not always a controlled
Okay.
airspace. And English, by the way, is the international language for all flying. So you could fly to Italy with
Nice.
everybody's talking English.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would change if let's say a ton of these cars got sold. Do you think they would change the controlling of the airspace because then it would be out of hand, maybe?
No, because if you have to have a license, so you need to be able to, engage with air traffic control when necessary. I mean, if you lived in the middle of nowhere and you wanted to fly 200 miles away in the middle of nowhere, you don't legally have to talk to anybody. You just get in the car
Okay.
and fly and drive and do whatever the hell you want. Now, as a courtesy, pilots will always, this is blah blah blah, even though the skies look clean, there's no other aircraft, he'll announce intentions. I'm about to leave on runway 22,
Okay.
going, westbound, I'll be departing and then traveling in an eastwardly direction. So you
Okay.
declare your intentions, whether no one's listening or not, just in
Okay.
case, on the odd chance there's a guy who wants to
Right.
land where you're taking off. So at least he's hearing you where you're at.
That makes sense. Yeah. That
Hopefully
makes
he's, because
sense.
each airport has a frequency you broadcast on.
Okay. I love the idea of being able to drive and fly. It'd be interesting to see if this really takes off. They said a couple of years ago when they were working on it, the price was around $400,000. So clearly not everybody would have one and not everybody would go through learning how to fly for sure.
Yes.
But it's still cool.
It's very cool. I think more practically, may I offer more? But
Yeah.
here's the deal. Where are you flying and where are you going that there's not a car? It's
It's just the fun of it, right?
it would be, it's just the fun of it. It's a Swiss Army knife where it
Yeah.
probably doesn't really perform well as an aircraft, and it
Right.
probably doesn't perform well as a car, but it does it does both things. It's fun. There's
Yeah,
no
it's
doubt
just
about it.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
fun. And
Yeah.
it's a talking thing, and
Yes.
so you get your rich. I think more practically is going to be drone technology,
Yeah. I have to
where
agree with you on
you don't
that.
have to have a license for anything. You get in that
Yeah.
drone taxi, you're going to go fly somewhere.
Yeah. Do you remember when the Segways came out and how they made such a big deal of like, this will change the planet? Everybody's going to have one. Everybody's going to live different. And it was just a fail. I mean,
It ended up being something for security, for mailmen, for
for,
cops at some point,
for
but
rom-coms, it was always very funny in the rom-coms.
mall cop.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, they built the last Segway like 16 months ago.
Did you ever want one? Did you ever have the desire to
I
get?
did. Of course, I wanted to try it, but
Yeah.
I
Where would
never
you have
did. I
taken
never
it?
did.
Like, if you owned a Segway, what would you have used it for?
Well, see, again, it's that's Segways in this flying car are the similar things. They ended up using them for tours.
Yes.
St. Pete had a tour, and Tampa had a tour, and
Yes.
everybody's a Segway tour.
Yeah.
Sounds fun,
Yeah.
but I mean,
But
I
like in
think
real
limited
life.
applications. I mean, people drive to where they want to go and then they walk, or if you want exercise, you're walking. If you don't want exercise, I wouldn't take the Segway and just go around the block.
Going to get the mail. Yeah, it's unfortunate though, because I do remember, I don't remember the year. Do you remember the year they came out? It was such the big deal of like, this is our future.
It's got to be 20 years ago, right?
It's been such a long time. Yeah. And now, and the inventor, wasn't it the creator, died on his Segway?
I think, I don't, that's a great story. I think an investor.
Really? Okay.
That's what I recall.
I would look on my phone, but you get so upset. I'm not going to look. I have no idea.
Go ahead. I think one of the investors took it over a cliff.
Yeah, it was something like that, right? Like he was an older guy, and it was kind of like the irony of the story of this guy was a Segway guy, and he died. So anyway, okay. So what was your other topic?
My other topic. I liked your topics better.
Well,
hospital, Colin Cowherd. I don't think today's the day. I wanted to talk about, because Colin was talking about, he had a health scare. He's 53 years old, 55 years old.
Okay.
And the day before the Super Bowl, he had an unbelievable pain, not in his heart, but on his chest.
Okay.
He goes, the pain was unbearable. So, and then he's a fit guy. I mean, he's exercises, takes care of himself. He's, height, weight, proportionate. So it was a shock. And he ended up missing the Super Bowl, missed the entire next week in the hospital, this, that, and the other. I forget what they decided what it was, but it was something that needed to be tended to.
Wow.
And then he made the point, he goes, I'm kind of a hospital guy. I end up in the hospital once every, 18 months for whatever reason. I'm clumsy. This happens, that happens, He goes, and I've always said that the hospital workers are the best. Yeah. They're compassionate. They care. My experience with hospital people, the basement is a ceiling. It's like people are they're running at 8s and 9s. There's no 3s and 2s in the hospital.
Yeah, I would think you'd have to be that kind of person, right, to survive in that environment.
If you're not, then you're doing the wrong thing. I mean, you had to do a lot of crap to get into that. I think to work at a hospital.
Have you ever wanted to be a doctor or work in that environment?
I never really had a desire to be a doctor. I never have I guess the member never introduced to it. I'm not kind of a stitchy person.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you that. I wouldn't be an ER doctor. I don't want to see half a leg or gunshot wound. It's
interesting though, how some people can, right? They can.
Thank God for them.
My sister is like that. She was a nurse for many years where, I told you she was with people that passed away. She would stay with them so they wouldn't be alone. She stitched up when they were doing training in the army. They were in the Mojave Desert, and a tank ran over a guy and his face got all tore up. And so she stitched his face up out in the desert with just what they had. And she's cool with all that stuff.
Right. Gosh, I was listening to a story. Sanjay Gupta.
Yes.
Was traveling with an infantry or traveling with a troop. He tells a story. Gosh dang it, I wish I knew the more specifics part of it.
Okay.
And then something dramatic happened where we have to do some work on this guy immediately, or he's going to be dead. A brain thing. Brain thing. So he's on the middle of nowhere. He's just kind of a reporter. He's not running with no medical kit.
Right.
And they cobble together a saw, a Black & Decker drill. They take apart they had a bag of something, and the guy, he goes, I know that the inside of this bag is sterile. Okay. So we're going to cut this guy's brain open. We're going to do whatever we need to do here. Stop the contusion, stop whatever. And then I'm going to take the inside of this bag and I'm going to stick it on his brain, because without some sort of sterile application of whatever, he's going to get an infection. He's going to be dead and all. So he does this. I mean, he cobbles together this crap in the middle of nowhere to do that. It's like, and he didn't want to do it, but it's like, you're the only guy. This guy's going to be dead in, 28 minutes unless you do something.
Did he make it? The guy?
Yeah, the guy made it.
So impressed and so grateful that there are people out there like that can think in a crisis, that can handle it, that have the knowledge. I never wanted to go in the medical field. I never considered ever being a nurse or any. I think I'm a nurturer, but I'm
Right.
not good medical stuff. Like if you
Yeah.
come at me and you've got something torn open, I'm probably going to guide you to another human being to take care of that because it's not my jam.
And it's, you need so much experience to be good.
Much. Yeah.
Could you imagine? I mean, you're presented with who knows what's coming in the door next.
Yeah, I know. My sister would tell me stories, and I was like, "How would you know?" And she's like, "You just know." I'm like, "Okay, that's why you have that job,
Right.
because
Oh,
you
no.
know, I don't know."
Yeah.
And for years now, my sister is the one. Anything medical happens, we all call her, and she said, "I haven't been a nurse for years." But she knows a lot of stuff, and she still will figure it out. But she's like, I haven't been a nurse for a while now, right?
I
I'm like,
know.
we need you.
My stepdaughter Coral is that person in our family.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
cleared me for the shot
Okay. Good.
because with the
That's
Guillain
very
Barre and the whatever, I could be suspect. I can't take a flu shot.
well. I wondered because of your history with Lyme's and everything. What?
Yeah, they're worried about. They think that a flu shot will trigger Guillain Barre, the paralysis thing.
Oh,
So they have kind of a soft connection between. We're noticing this group. Some people get a flu shot and they develop Guillain Barre, like not a
oh,
high percentage, 1/8%, but they find
sure.
there's an association. So they're
Yeah.
saying, well, if you've had it, I would steer clear from the flu shot. But this
Okay.
technology is different than the way they created flu shots. So they think I'm fine. I'm taking that shot.
That's interesting. So I've never gotten the flu shot. And it's funny because when we were doing What a Show, as a matter of fact, What a Show came up on my Facebook memories. It's been 10 years
I saw that.
since we've done What a Show. And I remember yeah, there it is. What a show. Um, I will take some time to listen to our shows, but Patrick, it was funny because Patrick, who is very pragmatic, looked at me when I said, I've never taken the flu shot. And guess what his first comment was when I said, I've just never taken the flu shot. What do you think Patrick's response to me was? Be honest.
I've never taken the flu shot. I don't know what he would say to me.
Well, I think it's because, Patrick sees me as kind of a kooky, doesn't have all the facts all the time kind of a lady. He looked at me and he said, are you worried that they're going to track you and that, that I was a
QAnon.
conspiracy theorist? And I said, you know what? No, the reason I've never gotten the flu shot is because I was married for a long time to someone in the pharmaceutical industry and I know a lot of stuff. And I felt like I didn't need it because I made sure that I was out in the world and my immune system was very strong because I felt like I saw enough bad things that happened with the flu shot. I wasn't willing to take it. So I've never taken the flu shot. And I have a friend here in New York who gets mad every year and says, why are you an anti-vaxxer? And I'm like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I've had all my shots, but the flu shot is not required by law. If it was required by law, then I'd have to handle it in a different way. Just like the vaccine, I recognize is important. Of course, I want to get the vaccine. It's important. I get it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I'm also not going to rush to the front of the line. I would like for it
It's coming April.
for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I don't fit into any of the categories, right? So I'm just kind of I'll be at the tail end of it, I suppose.
Although I'm
So,
watching folks step ahead,
oh, what do you mean? How do you mean?
marginally,
Uh,
but that's fine. I'm fine with that. My friend just got it.
like when you say that, what does that mean? Like they weren't supposed to get it?
No, I'm sorry. She got the COVID, did not get the shot.
Oh, okay. Well, which version of the COVID did she get? How's she doing?
She was having a rough time of it, but
Yeah.
but apparently manageable. It's
Okay.
very interesting. I said, she contacted her doctor, and the doctor's like, well, treat it like it's a flu, blah blah blah. I'm going, wow, that's kind of cavalier about something that's been killing 4,000 people a day.
And having long-term damage.
Yeah, I mean and then her boys got it too. I was listening to Dr. Drew who got it,
Yeah.
and he had a protocol. He goes, you can get all this stuff from telemedicine, and he's got the antibiotic, and he's got hydrochloroquine in there, and he's got some
Oh,
other couple of things. So I sent her that. I go, here's what Dr. Drew says. So if this thing's getting out of hand, You know, you
Right.
can get this stuff via telemedicine, not,
Okay. But
flu
then
thing, cough
what does
drops.
Dr. Dre have to say about it?
Ah, the Dr. Dre Drew incident.
It happens. There's so many
You're
famous
always
Dr.
rapping,
Dre's, right?
so you're conditioned.
So I don't know. So on the why God why topic,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
you familiar with um Claudia Conway?
No.
She's Kellyanne Conway's daughter, the one that's always on
Oh,
social media,
okay.
Claudia.
Clearly I've heard of her.
So I'm not on TikTok, but of course I've heard of her because anything that spends that much time in the news gets your attention. And she spent a lot of time in the news because she was a rebellious teenager, and mocking her parents. Her dad was a Republican, but also opposed to Trump. Her mom worked for Trump, so it was very interesting and controversial. And unfortunately, she got a lot of media attention because she was fighting with her parents. And so there's a lot there with the Claudia thing. But what I'm talking about today is Claudia Conway. Why God, why? She auditioned for American Idol. Now,
Right.
it's very tough to get on American Idol, as you can imagine.
Sure.
Also, American Idol likes their ratings. So, what do you think the outcome was when Claudia Conway, what do you think the odds are that she had the voice that she needed to move further on American Idol? You want to kind of guess and play out what you think happened?
Well, this is an interesting thing. I mean, like John Wayne's son, or Kirk Douglas's son,
Yes.
or Alec Baldwin's brother.
Yes.
They all get a little bit of entree, but you've got to perform to
Right.
move on. Now, if you've got the entree and it's like 93% there, but he could sell tickets, she can
Yeah.
sell tickets.
Yeah.
Can't be horrible, but you're going to get a wider berth than the person who just walked in with their guitar from San Diego.
Yes. And of course, that's exactly what happened. Now, of course, American Idol let her talk about the subject. And of course, she didn't go in. You wouldn't know her. If she went into audition, you wouldn't know. I wouldn't know her. Most people wouldn't know her. She's a little blonde girl. She blends in. You wouldn't know her. But of course, right away, she said, my parents are very high power political figures, which, okay, go ahead, take your draw, whatever. But that's also telling me that you're going to use that
Oh yeah, you're leaning on that.
that maybe you're not that good because you're using that
You know
in,
what? Would you do that if you were in her position?
I don't know. I will tell you this. When I moved to California, I met my biological dad when I was 18. He was a very wealthy man. And there were some circumstances that occurred that I purposely did not tell people who my father was because I knew exactly how I was going to be treated. And I'm opposed to that. I'm very much now. Had I wanted to get on American Idol, yeah, maybe. If I was a teenage girl, I mean, I'm not going to lie, yeah, maybe. So what I've seen of her on social media, she's very, opinionated as most teenage girls are, and very brazen. And so this audition was no different. And she came in. You want to guess what she wore? Do you want to guess her little outfit? Well, if you
Yeah,
see it,
let me just sit here in my office fantasizing about what some teenagers are going to wear on American Idol.
well, I didn't mean specifically. I just meant as an adult, you know that this girl's probably, based on her personality, not going to wear a granny, long dress or something, right? She's going to go all the way to get all the attention. She wore one of those handkerchiefs
I mean,
as a
Paula
shirt.
already thinks I'm a pervert.
uh, it's okay, Paula. So it's a little handkerchief thing, and it looked like leather low riding pants that were way too long, but she had very spiked heels on.
Go
So
on.
when she started singing, you could tell she wasn't very good and she was straining, and kids are nervous. So Katy Perry stopped her.
Katy
And
Curry.
Katy Perry is one of the judges.
Oh, I thought you said Katy Curry.
No, Katy Perry is a judge. And right away, as most teenage girls do, Claudia Conway started making excuses of why she wasn't doing so well. And she said, oh, my shoes were wobbly, which we all know affects your vocal cords.
Wow.
And so Katie said, take your shoes off.
Wow.
Good for you, Katy Perry. So she did take her shoes off, and she told her to sing another song that would maybe be more suited for her. It was a Rihanna song. And then she said, and imagine it. She was trying to guide her, right? Giving her a couple minutes, guide her. And so she started singing the other song. Now, I'm not a singer, so I have no ground to stand on. I'm not a good singer. I wish I was. Claudia Conway is also not a good singer.
Wow.
That's my opinion. But here's what occurred, because she's a ratings grab, right? I mean, I get it. She started singing a few bars and I thought, I'm out. I know where this is going. So I just skipped the video and went to the story to see where the story went. And sure enough, people were complaining because better singers did not get into the next round, and she most certainly did. So how about Claudia Conway for using all of her tricks? And we'll see how far she goes. And her father was there. Do you remember his name? Kellyanne Conway's husband's name. He was the head of the Lincoln Project.
Yeah, I just saw him on TV a couple weeks ago. I don't recall, Your Honor.
Yeah, so he was there in the background, which is interesting because it's all COVID stuff. So they're not allowing anybody to be around, but he was back there and he was crying. And as you know, a father would be very emotional about his child taking the next step, which to me is all very interesting, because imagine if your girls, you're a big wig at HSN and your girls start mocking you, saying how they're opposed to your opinions, opposed to your, entire belief system, and mocking you. Me as a parent, I would just get rid of the phone. You didn't earn the phone. You don't deserve the phone. If you're going to disrespect me, the person who pays for your phone's gone. So I was always surprised that this young girl was able to continue on, mocking both of her parents and causing a lot of controversy, unless it's something everybody's kind of on board with, because it does keep everybody's names in the press.
Everybody likes that little bit of attention.
Whew.
Yeah.
Personally, what would you do, Tom, if your girls did that? Would you let them keep their phones?
Well, they can get their own phones.
I'm saying when they were 16 years old and they're sending live videos saying that you're a douchebag and you don't know what you're doing, and they're opposed to everything that you stand for.
I think I would do the same thing that what Twitter did to the president.
Yeah. Because it's great to have an opinion, but if you can't afford the phone, then you can't respect the phone. The phone is gone.
I didn't know we were going to the phone was going to be the topic of how this thing was going to end up.
Well, I just think the power that these young kids have with their phones is kind of misunderstood and misrepresented. They're very tough when they're in their houses that their parents pay for, the phones that their parents pay for, the clothes that they're very tough about all the stuff. But when you're out in the real world, you got to, don't you think you have to take some responsibility for your actions?
Yeah. Well, we've gone. I mean, you've done something wrong if your daughter is 16 running you off in a public forum. Something's gone wrong. Something's
broken, right? Yeah. So, but it was interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how American Idol handles her in the future, because
so she's moved on, huh?
She's moved on. My prediction is that they'll cut her at some point, and then she'll turn around and claim sexism or prejudice, or
it doesn't matter. And then that the whole thing is worked out for them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Please complain.
Yes, that's my prediction. So yes, that's how I feel about that.
All right, my tip for the day is get the best you can afford. If you want to buy earbuds, don't buy the $39 ones. Get the Apple iPods for almost $200. Work great fidelity. Mic works great. It's the best. How many times do I buy shitty stuff and only do? Because I bought the Logitech, the camera I'm on right now, Logitech, $200.
Yeah.
I tried the $49 one. I'm working. This has got to be the way to go.
You spend more money when you try to save money.
I know.
Lesson learned, everybody. Buy the best you can afford, says Tom Wise. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
You've been unpacking some shit with us today. Please feel free to join in and let us know how you feel about these topics.
Wow. I wouldn't, you know what? Maybe not. Or get your own show if you want to, if you get a lot of, if you have a lot of opinions. No, we thank you for watching. See you on Friday.
Friday it is.
That's another one in the can.